Here's how this could work evolutionarily. Here's how this could work evolutionation. Damn it. Here's how this could work evolution-wise. Hello and welcome to Book Retorts. I'm Sam.
I'm Danielle.
And this is the podcast about sharing your weird media finds with your friends who really don't understand you.
Is that what this is about?
Danielle, do you understand me?
Never. You're
That's what
a
I
mystery
thought. I'm calling you out right now.
Up an enigma.
Oh, thank you. I'm like a burrito of mystery.
Flour tortilla.
Oh, no, corn, please. That's where I draw the line.
That's it.
With a little
sour cream.
Mole sauce. There we go. I was like, I want the mole. I want the chocolate sauce. Yeah. Anyway, I never had a mole burrito, but they should make those.
I'm sure they do. Mole's delicious.
I bet they are delicious. So that's our food recommendation for the day. Well, we're talking today about a recipe we have for a delicious chicken con carne.
Ooh, chicken con carne.
I know. No, this is not a cooking podcast. That would be delicious, but then I'd be hungry all the time and probably a lot fatter. So let's just get to our actual content, which is a movie I'm going to share with you, Danielle.
What movie?
The 2002 movie, Reign of Fire.
Reign of Fire. Isn't that a song?
Probably.
Into a burning ring of fire. That's it.
Nope. That's a different song altogether, Danielle.
I got
Johnny
there.
Cash had nothing to do with this movie.
That's a shame because I feel like things would be better with Johnny Cash.
I think Johnny Cash makes a lot of things better. But no, this is Reign of Fire, and it's spelled with the different kind of rain. Not the falling rain, but the ruling rain.
Is this the one with the dragons?
We'll find out, Danielle, won't we?
That's all I might maybe know about this. Let's find out what happens.
All right. So as you know, we have to start with your recap of last... No, I'm kidding. We'll start with the description.
No, we don't. Don't make me.
Yeah, I just want to panic you a little bit. Keep you on your toes. All right, here comes the description of Reign of Fire. You'll find this description is very 2002.
All right. It says, packed with action, this thrilling adventure is hotter than ever in this explosive new Blu-ray format. All hell breaks loose when an unearthly creature is awakened after centuries of slumber. Is it a dragon?
Danielle, we'll find out.
20 years later, Fire Chief, quote-unquote, Quinn, tries to keep a group of refugees alive with ferocious dragons dominating the air and burning the
patience
land.
pays off.
But tempers also flare when Quinn clashes with a hotshot American militia leader. Gasp at the bone-charring special effects and spectacular 1080p. Wow. And cower as fire-breathing dragons roar and thunder as 5.148 kilohertz 16-bit uncompressed audio. Why is that a selling point? Feel the heat with Blu-ray high definition! Exclamation point.
So this movie may have come out on disc about the time Blu-ray format was being released.
Apparently, where they still thought people cared about the 5.148 kilohertz 16-bit uncompressed audio.
I'm sure somebody cares, and I'm just so delighted to find that in the description. I had to leave it in there for you. I like how fully half of that description is them talking about Blu-ray as a format.
Yeah, there's not even the story.
No, they have like 2 sentences on that. Like, no, let me tell you about the 48 kilohertz audio. So, have a good sense of what the movie's about based on that?
Something about dragons and a fire chief and some militia.
I'll be honest, until I found this description, I had no idea he was called Fire Chief. Honestly, I don't know if they said that at all in the movie or if I just missed it, but who knows? This was a movie that was filmed, I don't know where it was filmed, but most of the actors are British and it takes place in England. Mm-hmm. So there are accents aplenty.
Yay! Our favorite kinds of movies.
Yeah, some are better than others, but they're still delightful. I just thought we would start, as we usually do, at the beginning.
It's a good call, good call.
I know, I'm a trendsetter that way. We open with a slow-mo shot of pigeons in London as a boy...
They're very scary.
...walks through a city to a construction site expanding the London Underground. So, yay, London Underground. All the workers seem to know him as he heads down the elevator shaft into the tunnels. And I sincerely hope one of his parents works here, because otherwise, why is a child wandering around a construction site?
Doesn't seem like a fun thing to do.
I mean, I would love to do it. I'm just saying it doesn't seem like a prudent idea to
I don't
say,
think
hey.
12-year-olds think like that, Sam.
No, but everyone who's around him, all the adults are like, hey, yeah, go that way, get in the elevator. Should be,
Yeah, that's weirder.
Yeah, there you go. It's not like it's abandoned. He's sneaking around. He's just walking through it past all the other construction workers.
Maybe it's a planned murder, Sam. Have you thought about that?
Yes, they're all planning to murder this child. Cool.
You don't know?
I
Maybe.
do know, Danielle. I've seen the movie.
That's true.
You don't know. That's how it works.
Maybe he dies.
Anyway, so fortunately, he goes down the tunnel elevator and he finds his mom, who is the foreperson or somebody on this construction project, and he hands his mom a letter. Apparently, he is very distraught about this letter. She reads it, and she is sad because he has lost his scholarship, something like £3,000, to go to a private school or something, and he won't be able to continue to attend. It's very unclear why this matters. It's just like, he has a letter and he's sad. And apparently it's something to do with money.
Okay, so basically he potentially can't go to the school anymore?
Yes, and he briefly mentions maybe dad could help pay, and then he's like, oh, sorry, I didn't want to bring up dad. And you may think all of this is relevant. None of this matters. None of this at all is important. It doesn't build character. It doesn't come back in the future. The fact that he has money problems or an absentee dad is totally irrelevant. This is all, I don't know if this is a big misdirection on the movie's part, or if they just genuinely had something left on the cutting room floor, but this could all be left out. So now something actually happens when another worker comes up and says, hey, there's a problem. We've hit some kind of void. And his mom goes to check it out. Meanwhile, the kid, who's named Quinn, we figure out eventually, goes off to where a guy is drilling through the wall and is preparing to hit this void. Where'd his mom go? I don't know. Just left her kid alone in a construction site without a hard hat when everyone else is dressed up in safety equipment. He's just wandering around in his school uniform. As a foreperson, she should be on top of this. Like, that's not okay.
Yeah, I feel like it's fine to have your kid there potentially, but you definitely would want to have all your safety gear on the kid.
Yeah, you gotta put them in safety gear, or if there's no safety gear that fits the kid, sorry, they don't go in the tunnel. It's like, you can't just like, nah, this PPE is optional if the kid's too small to fit into it. Maybe that's like a sign that's maybe too dangerous for the child to be in a place where they can't even fit into the safety equipment.
You tell him, Sam. You write back to 2002.
No, I won't. So anyway, he goes up to this guy who is drilled the hole, and he's like looking at it going, oh, there's something crazy going on in there. And they banter back and forth a bit. Then he hands Quinn this flashlight, says, go crawl in there and take a look around. Again, into a cave, unexplored, potentially unstable, no safety equipment, nobody monitoring him, just like him and this one dude, his mom off who knows where. None of this is okay.
Does he find dragons?
Danielle, why don't you just wait 10... This is like Tremors all over again. Every 5 seconds, is there worms? Is there dragons? Danielle, I'm never going to tell you what's in a freaking movie again if every 10 seconds you're going to ask me, is that the thing?
If it's the only thing I know about the movie that I really kind of want to see happen.
Then you should just wait patiently until it happens.
Okay.
Let this story happen. You don't go to a play and go start yelling at the actors on stage, hey, where's the ghost, Hamlet? Bring out the ghost. Is the ghost here yet?
I mean, you could.
You could. You're going to get thrown out of a theater.
Anyway, please continue, Sam. I'm sorry to interrupt with questions about the plot.
That's not a question about the plot, Danielle. You know it.
I really wanted to know if there were dragons.
He's climbing inside the tunnel. You're going to find out in 3 seconds.
Okay, well, not now, because you've argued with me this entire time.
So it's amazing we ever get anything done on this podcast.
What does he find, Sam? Please tell us.
Oh my gosh. I really want to tell you, but let me first tell you a story. No, I'm kidding. All right, so he goes in. It's a big cave. It's dark and looks kind of like scaly on the walls. Like it's cooled molten rock, like it's all been dripping.
Uh-huh.
And then fire falls from the ceiling, and he looks up and sees a creature hanging there. And the thing just spits full on like Hoxaloogie on Quinn.
Ew.
Yeah, I don't know why that happens.
Because it's funny.
That was funny. Quinn obviously freaks out and skedaddles out of there, finds his mom, tells her there's something in that hole, and she rushes Quinn off to the elevator and starts like pouring an eye wash kit over his face to clean him up, which is, good. I'm glad they have some safety equipment there.
Seems smart.
So as his mom is getting him washed up, the other work people go back to investigate the hole, and they're looking in, and suddenly there's a big explosion.
Uh-oh.
Fire is rushing towards the elevator. Quinn and his mom get in the elevator, shove the button to go up as a fireball sort of chases them up the elevator shaft.
Aren't you not supposed to use elevators during emergencies?
I mean, I don't think there's not like there's stairs into this tunnel construction site, Danielle.
Okay, I guess.
I mean, yes, if the power goes out and there's a fire, you shouldn't use the stairs, but I really don't know what their other options are.
It seems poorly planned, but okay, go ahead.
I don't know, like, construction workers out there, if you know about emergency exits from deep tunnels and subway construction sites, let us know how they work. Maybe there's an emergency staircase that I don't know about.
There should be.
There should be, sure, yeah. Anyway, as the explosion is chasing them, there's a roar, and a giant creature, a big dragon, Danielle!
Dragons!
There it is. Climbs up the shaft past them, wrecking the elevator. The mom killed instantly.
Oh, I didn't see that coming. That's sad.
Dead. Out. I told you, all of that stuff, all of the setup, irrelevant. Quinn survives, somehow, not clear. And then we cut to a montage of newspaper stories. Like, young boy survives inferno.
Survives dragon.
That is not mentioned. But now we hear the dulcet tones of Christian Bale. Ooh.
Singing?
No. As adult Quinn, he is basically just going to narrate and exposit the entire story for us up to now.
Does he play the adult too?
Yeah, well, Christian Bale is the adult, yeah.
I'm just wondering if he just was doing a voiceover or if he also was the adult.
No. It's going to cut to years later.
I think I'm confusing this with another movie with dragons.
I mean, there are many movies with dragons, Danielle. That's absolutely possible.
I'll figure it out. We'll see.
I think of Dragonheart because I want to do that movie too.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, that one. That's set in oldie times, right?
Yeah, that was set in oldie times.
Okay, I think that's the one I'm thinking of because I was confused that this was set in normal day times.
No, I mean, they're working on a subway, so obviously it's not going to be like King Arthur's London Underground.
Right. Well, there's just so many dragon movies, Sam.
That is fair. Anyway, so he is narrating and also writing. At least there's somebody writing. Not clear if it's him or not. It's just somebody writing. And he's explaining how the only weapon we have is knowledge, but we don't know how they spawn so fast, like locusts, burning everything in their path, driven to feed. So he lays out the entire movie here. I'm just going to read it because if the movie is too lazy to actually show what's happening, why am I going to take that on? So he says, too late, our scientists discovered their true identity, a species which had burned the dinosaurs to dust, whose ash had brought on ice ages, who in eons past had scorched the world clean of life, then starved, then slept, waiting for the earth to replenish itself, waiting to start their cycle anew. Our weapons shot fire back at them, yet for everyone killed, 100 took its place. So, questions? Because I have a few. One, dragons killed the dinosaurs?
Yeah, apparently, and are the cause of some climate change issues, and also waited until 2002 where they thought Earth was ripe enough for feeding again.
Yeah, no, in the 10,000 years of human history, when there was a rich and healthy biome, rife full of megaflora and fauna that could have been eaten like mammoths and things, they decided to wait until now to come out of their slumber. Like,
seemed like a good
year. I don't
year.
know how cicadas do their rhythms, but I don't think they wait until like, let's wait until the crops roll, like, different. So, also, scientists are like, oh, dragons, that must have been what killed the dinosaurs. I mean, how'd they figure that out?
I don't know how they figured that out.
Decades and decades to come to the current theories about the meteor impact.
And it's super weird that they never found a dragon body.
Fossil?
Yeah. Like ever in excavation.
Nothing. So, nonsense.
Invisible. Maybe like when they die, their bones dissipate into the earth.
Gosh, possibly. Maybe they all just like melt. But if that would happen, they don't show that in this film.
All right. This is already not going where I thought it was. So this is fun. Okay. They've taken over.
So, after he continues a little spiel, I'm just going to summarize it a bit. So it was all futile. They fought back until eventually they nuke cities to try to kill the dragons.
Uh-huh.
And everyone fled the cities to hide, and now the dragons are starting to starve. And he finishes up by saying, you have to understand our past because you will decide our future. They're starving now and are more dangerous than ever. But we have to go on. We have to outlast them. Only one species is getting out of this alive.
So they came through and killed all the dinosaurs, ate them all, whatever. And then when they ran out of food, they like went back under and secluded themselves like cicadas and then came back out when Earth was plentiful again.
Yeah, apparently they waited 65 million years to do this.
And so so food's scarce again. When they just go back under the ground and wait until the next time?
So it'll become clearer later, but they basically act like a plague where they feed until there's no food left and then they start to die off, which would absolutely not work in any ecological cycle. Because if you eat all your food to the point where you starve off as a species until like you hibernate again, then there's going to be nothing, there's never going to come back. Like that's not how predator-prey cycles work. It's not like cicadas come out, eat until every bit of grain on the earth is gone, and then say, okay, we'll just come back in a few years when the not grain existing anymore comes back.
But that's what dragons do.
Apparently that's what dragons do, and it works, so who am I to complain?
I mean, it took them 65 million years to get more things on Earth, but it worked.
Yeah, no, I mean, you know what? You can't argue with results, Danielle. Also, I have no idea who he's addressing with this.
Dear person, is it a diary entry?
It looks like it's a diary entry of some kind, but he's rating the second person to you.
He's letting you know in the future, Sam.
He's obviously just talking directly to the audience. There's literally no reason he should be expositing this for no reason. It's just like they want to have some random. Like they could have gotten Morgan Freeman to narrate it, and it would have been made just as much sense. All right, so we crossfade to shirtless Christian Bale wielding a pickaxe on a tunnel. So he wanders off. Someone's like, hey, let me show you this cool new sprinkler system we have set up to protect us from, fires. And if he's called Fire Chief at this point, I missed it. So
I'm going to call him that, though.
He's like the de facto leader of this enclave.
Okay, that makes sense, being Christian Bale.
Yeah, of course. Well, also, he's obviously the star of the movie, so he has to be the one in charge. So then someone calls him and say, hey, Eddie's going psycho. And Quinn rushes off through the tunnels. So it's a bustling community, and they exit through this castle. So it's like a castle, and they've dug under the castle to make like their safety tunnels. Okay. And he rushes out of the tunnels out into the front area, and he goes to this covered area. It's like another, not like it's like a garage, but if a garage was just like a tent. Because there are trucks and cars in it. And there's a title that comes up that says Northumberland, England, 2020 AD. So we're a year late for the apocalypse, Danielle.
Oh, we missed the dragons. Dang it.
Well, the dragon came out in 2002, and there was 8 years worth of apocalypse up to that point. Also, no offense to Christian Bale, but he looks about 30 in this movie, not 20. I mean, he looks good, but he doesn't look like he is a fresh-faced 20-year-old kid.
Hollywood always uses older actors to play younger characters.
Unless it's women.
Yeah, I was going to get there. Until they're grandmas, and then they're 40 years old. Oh, society standards.
They are a problem. So this is like a very Mad Max type aesthetic going on here. Everyone's sort of in rags, everything's sort of jerry-rigged together. It's kind of like early on in the Mad Max verse before everything goes all like super crazy, but it's still like post-apocalyptic dragon verse. So that's fun.
You and your post-apocalyptic giant war dinosaur whatever dragon
verses. The giant worm movie was not post-apocalyptic, Danielle.
It would have been very quickly.
Tremors was not post-apocalyptic at the least. What are you talking about?
It's a destruction of mankind movies that you like so much, Sam.
That's not the destruction of mankind. That's destruction of one small group of like 7 people. I wouldn't call that exactly a disaster on the scale of dragons destroying the dinosaurs.
They were planning to get out of there. You don't know what happens in the rest of the Tremors movies.
That's
or TV
a very
show.
good point. I don't know. Maybe I should investigate and find out what really happened. Maybe I should read the novelization of Tremors if that exists.
I'm sure it does.
Awesome. But back to this movie. In the covered area, Quinn finds a bunch of people who are sort of packing up some trucks, and they're even some kids with them, some children. And Quinn is like, what's going on, Eddie? And Eddie, the leader of this ragtag group, says they're going to go to the field and they're going to harvest the food. And Quinn says, no, it's too early. We have to wait for them to germinate. We're not going to have any seeds for the next harvest, for the next season. And Eddie says, there won't be a next season. We're already starving now. So, classic dissension in the ranks.
Yeah, but it sounds like Christian Bale may be right.
Look, I don't think that starving's a good thing, but also if you don't want to pull the same problem the dragons are pulling, where you destroy all your food and don't leave anything else to make more food later.
Exactly.
So, yeah. So they argue. Eddie insists they're starving and that this whole commune idea won't work. And he has clearly no idea for the future. He's like, I want to get this food now, and then I don't know, we'll die next year or something.
Doesn't
Not
matter.
really clear what his point is. He talks about how all the other places have dropped off radio contact. There may be no one else out there anymore. But Quinn argues that he's just going to doom the entire community if he does this. And he takes the keys from Eddie from the truck. And he's like, I'm keeping these and you're not going anywhere. And one of his friends, who is Gerard Butler as Creedy.
How did I not know this movie existed?
Oh, you're going to be very upset when I get to one of the other characters. So Gerard Butler as Creedy comes up and like backs him up and helps him like get away from Eddie and like is his like right-hand man in this movie. And I'm thinking, if Eddie was really that determined to take the truck, do you think just taking the keys is going to stop him?
Can't they just hotwire it? We all know you just pull the wires out and like push them together.
Yeah, it's not hard. And these like aren't brand new 2020 cars. They are old and makeshift. And I mean, I'm surprised they even still use keys on them, frankly. So Quinn's plan of, let me just take the keys. That'll stop this man determined to get out from happening and taking all our food. Surprise.
There's no other
Later,
cars.
It doesn't. Anyway, so we then cut to Quinn and his friend Creedy. They are reenacting the big fight from Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back, for a bunch of kids as like a nightly movie night story time routine.
Oh, sad.
Because even in the apocalypse, Star Wars won't stop being everywhere.
I mean, that's probably true.
Yeah.
I think it's the most realistic part of this movie thus far.
I believe it. I was like, yeah, that tracks. And then Quinn takes credit for writing the movie, which is great. He's like, the kids are like, did you make that up, Mr. Quinn? He's like, yes, I did.
I would do that too if the apocalypse was happening.
Who's going to argue with you? What are you
Who's gonna know?
Is Disney going to sue you from beyond the grave? It's great. And so he's like, okay, kids, time to get to bed. But first, we have to do our prayers. And he leads them in this call and response prayer, which is, what do we do when we wake? Keep both eyes on the sky. What do we do when we sleep? Keep one eye on the sky. Okay? What do we do when we see them? Dig hard, dig deep, head for shelter, never look back. I'm like, what?
I don't know if those are prayers so much as just
Yeah, no.
reminders to children of what to do in an emergency.
But also, like, never look back. Okay, cool.
Trauma-informed prayer.
Right. So later that night, everyone's asleep. Eddie sneaks around and he steals the keys from Quinn. And he goes and gets his friend. He's like, hey, I got the keys. Quinn was asleep. We're leaving. And also like, duh, how did Quinn not see that coming?
You should have hidden the keys better. I don't know what he's thinking.
They've eaten them like a true man. And so they head out and Eddie and his friend leaving behind the friend's wife who's like, don't tell anybody about this. So, foreshadowing. Quinn wakes up to the howling of the wind through the castle corridors, and he looks outside his door, and there's a kid sitting there who's scared, so he lets the kid come in and sleep in his room, and that was something that happened in this movie, but I don't know why. I think it's to establish that Quinn is a kind and gentle soul.
Like a nice dude. Some stuff just is character building, Sam.
Sometimes, but also sometimes just like, you lay it a little thick there. I mean, it's so obviously like part of the script and not part of his actual character.
Yeah, I guess. Oh, I don't know what the rest of his character is like. You haven't gotten that far.
This is about it, Danielle. There's not much there. So then we cut to the morning. It looks like early morning. Eddie is driving up to the farm, which is like in a little bowl of land just out in the open. So not protected, not fenced off or anything. And people pile out of the truck and just start grabbing tomatoes and like digging into them. So not even like harvesting the food to bring back for the community. They're just like stealing the food. So these people are not any like their whole altruism, like we have to do this to save ourselves, to save the children. They're starving is like, no, you just want some tomatoes for yourself, buddy.
Yeah, you tell him.
So then we cut to a lookout on top of the castle structure who spots something and then sounds an alarm. That's when the alarm is going off. That woman, the wife of the friend, tells Quinn that Eddie and the others are in the fields.
He didn't notice that yet.
No, because there was like, they just got woken up by the alarm and they're getting all the kids into the shelter.
Got it. And there are dragons.
It's a dragon, yeah.
Yay!
So Eddie and his friends are still on the field and they hear the alarm. They start looking around and one of them like runs up to another guy. He's like, hey, there's a dragon coming. And the guy's like, okay, go get Eddie. And just stands there picking tomatoes still and then immediately gets torched by a dragon that flies over.
Well, you know what?
Yeah, I know. Like, buddy, this guy told you, hey, there are dragons coming. You're like, just go get Eddie. I'm going to stay here with my tomato.
We definitely have not been hiding from them for the last 10 years.
Yeah, we definitely don't need to like have a sense of urgency right now or anything. Anyway, a dragon comes through and it torches the field. It eats the guy who was waiting there. And Ed and the others scramble out of there, but the truck is destroyed by the dragon. Oh no. Who continues to torch everything. And at this point, I'm like, I don't get it. If the dragons want to eat the people, why are they just immolating everything? Like, they're destroying their food. by doing that, right?
Are the dragons smart enough to know that it's food?
He ate the guy. Like he was like, I want to chomp on that one guy. Like he swooped down and ate him.
Yeah, but then he's destroying the food of the humans. But
No, he's destroying everything. He's like clearly trying to torch the people too.
Oh, yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, like he's indiscriminately torching everything. Like
maybe they taste better cooked, Sam.
Okay, I can't argue that. But also, even if he wasn't trying to torch the people, why torch anything at all? Just swoop down and eat them. I mean, you don't need to torch anything.
That's true. But maybe it's just fun.
I can't argue with that. It would be fun, Danielle.
It's like war cries, but with fire.
Sure.
Yeehaw! Barbecued humans.
Well, that's a ringtone. So Eddie and his crew and the kids that were with them, because of course they brought kids, are trapped, surrounded by flame, when Quinn comes through with a makeshift fire truck just spraying water everywhere and a fireproof suit. So he like walks through the flames and he guides them out into these 2 fire trucks that are just like basically like trucks, jeeps with hoses, like turrets mounted on the top of them. Very makeshift. Not sure how they work. And he just gives Eddie the most intense side eye ever, which is earned.
It is very earned.
He's like, Eddie, you fool. I freaking told you.
Bad Eddie. No biscuit.
But as they drive away, the dragon lands right in front of them, starts breathing fire, and it kills Eddie's son, who was up top on the fire deck, who went to man the turret of water as soon as they got in the truck, and he's just gone. Vaporized.
That's sad. How old was the son?
Late teens? Mid-teens?
Sad day.
And apparently this is like the 4th kid Eddie has lost. Like, there's a high attrition rate among people in this world, which is sad. So the trucks then quickly scramble. They back out. There's some scrambling. They manage to get away. And as they're driving past, they see the dragon just torching the field. And someone says, they don't care about us. They just want to eat the ash off that field. And I'm like, wait a minute. They eat ash? What?
That's
what?
Weird.
Why did the guy eat ash? Oh, wait, this doesn't make any sense. This movie just keeps throwing out new rules for these dragons.
So they eat humans and the ash?
Apparently they just eat everything, but they also eat ash. They torch things to make it ash and then eat. I don't know, Danielle. It doesn't make any sense.
No, that's weird.
It's crazy. Because the dragons just eat people and they chomp down on them in this movie, but also they keep on talking about how they eat ash. It doesn't make any sense.
Maybe it helps their tummies.
Like when birds eat stones. Sure.
Yeah, or cows.
Right. Yes, sure. Ash helps their tummies.
You don't know, Sam. Tell me.
I don't know.
Are you a biologist on dragons? I don't think so.
I am a dragonologist. I've watched this movie. I'm an expert by now.
You've seen all the dragon movies. You know.
No, I don't. I don't know anything about that. I know this movie, though. This movie is full of nonsense. All right, so we're back in Castle Christian Bale. I don't know what the actual name of this place is. It's just called the Castle.
Castle Christian Bale.
Yeah, where we see Quinn and Creedy. They're in a room that's just chock full of like 50, 60 candles for some reason. And Creedy pours Quinn a drink of some homemade hooch. And they start lamenting about poor Eddie having to bury his kids. And Quinn starts to have a crisis of faith, like maybe Eddie was right. Maybe this is going to work. And now we have no crops. They're all burned. How are we going to survive?
Good question.
Maybe this whole thing was a mistake. The dragons are getting hungrier and more aggressive.
How come they didn't live closer to their crops?
That's a great plan. Why did they have like some like underground crops? Like I know that lots of crops don't grow well without sun, but they could have had them at least enclosed in some way to protect them from the open sky.
You would think so.
Like a greenhouse or just like an awning. I don't know.
Or something fireproof as a rooftop.
Yeah. And like even if it was retractable or something. Like I'm not telling them how to do their job, but
we would do it better.
Their whole post-apocalyptic plan was we're in a world that has roaming dragons that rain fire and death. Let's just leave our unprotected crops, which we need to survive in a little valley, a good truck's drive away from us.
Or even one of those buildings that's like really you could put dirt into a building to build crops.
Yeah.
Like one of the ones that's more fireproof in the structure, how they're made.
Well, I mean, they're in a castle. It's made of stone. Probably not like terribly flammable. The point is, none of this people like think that far ahead.
This is how the humans died out.
Yes, it is. By being humans, pretty much. Next, we see somebody on a radio who's picking up some voices that are coming through. And he calls up to the lookout. He's like, hey, do you see anybody? And the lookout looks around. He says, oh, there's a tank and jeeps just driving up to the castle. Like APCs, like it's a whole convoy. And so another alarm is raised, and Creedy and Quinn arm up. They pass around guns to all the people, and they head out to face them on the ramparts of the walls. And Creedy quips that apparently it's been years since they've had marauders. So, yay.
That's a thing.
I guess.
I assume would happen with a dragon apocalypse.
Oh, any apocalypse is going to be marauders. But Creedy is all like very blasé about it. So the tank stops right in front of the gate and out pops the grittiest Matthew McConaughey you have ever seen.
I just don't understand how I didn't know all these people were in a dragon movie.
Yeah, he is bald. He has got a scraggly beard. He is grimy. He is ripped. He is wearing the fatigues. He is badass. It is Matthew McConaughey post-apocalyptic Mad Max version, and I'm loving it.
I should watch it just for him because I don't often like him in things, but this sounds like maybe it would be a good bet.
He is not his most McConaughey in this movie. I'll say that. Like, he is actually putting in a good performance of being this. He still sounds like McConaughey. Like, his voice still has that twang, and he's from Kentucky. But, like, it's not just McConaughey being McConaughey, if you know what I mean.
Yes,
like,
I absolutely know what you mean.
Yeah, it's good. It's a lot of fun. Like, if you just saw a photo of him, it's like, oh, that doesn't look like McConaughey at all.
Something to look forward to if I ever watch it.
In fact, I recommend, after we're done here, just look up some photos of Matthew McConaughey in this movie and enjoy the spectacle.
I'm sure I will.
So McConaughey climbs out of the tank, like spreads his arms to show he's like unarmed. He's like turning around slowly. It's like, hey, who's in charge here? I want to talk to that person. So Quinn goes down to meet him, and the stranger introduces himself as Denton Van Zan.
What a name.
I know, right? Van Zan is how he's addressed in the whole movie. 2 words, Van and Zan. And he says to Quinn, we need a place to stay, shelter so we can refit our artillery, and then we'll leave tomorrow about 1800 hours. And also, he tells a story about like how they were part of this Kentucky division of, I don't know, some army division, and they had a plane and they were just landing it a while ago, and now they're out here for some reason. And they don't really share. He's being kind of cagey about that.
Okay. And
Quinn is dubious about this. Like, yeah, okay, you had a plane. No, the air is their territory. And Van Zan says, that's my territory. That's your territory. They're just renting it.
I appreciate your best McConaughey.
I mean, it was kind of a weird southern accent thing because he has that kind of Kentucky twang. But I just really love the line of this movie. Like, Van Zan's dialogue is amazing. He has all these like, little quips and weird things he says, and I love it.
I'm going to argue that the land seems to be the dragon's territory as well. It's not like it's
right,
can't be hit by them.
Yeah. No, this is all just like banter. And so Quinn's like, no, you gotta go. We're not gonna let you in. And Van Zan is like, don't be a fool. We can do this easy or we can do this real easy. I'm so here for it. And so Quinn is still defiant. And Van Zan then brandishes his like tooth or claw and says, he's like, I'm a dragon killer. And he tells this long-winded story about how back in the States, they killed a dragon. It was the first one they killed. And he says he had an epiphany. They have great vision in the day, and they have even better vision at night. But in the failing light, they can't focus. Magic hour. And I'm like, oh, you really figured this all out. Apparently the scientists who determined the dragons killed the dinosaurs couldn't have put that together before you did, McConaughey.
Couldn't figure out how to kill a dragon.
No, it goes into like a very Tremors territory where all the characters suddenly know everything about these dragons when it's convenient for them to know it.
It's my favorite kind of movie.
Yeah. So Quinn still isn't totally buying it, but he seems sort of charmed by this folksy, intense story by Van Zan. And he's like, all right, you can come in, but don't try anything or I'll kill you. And he's like, all right, cool. So they open the gates and the tank and the troops, everyone just rolls into the castle courtyard. And Creedy's like, are you crazy? What are you doing? Letting these weird Americans in?
That's fair. Fair question.
Yeah. But before they get into an argument, a helicopter flies over. So apparently they do have some air power. And this helicopter lands as Van Zan pulls to a stop. And then he throws an apple to a kid because Van Zan does Van Zan what he does. I don't know.
So is the helicopter part of their outfit or the castle's?
No, it's part of the Van Zan outfit.
Okay.
So the helicopter pilot, Alexander Jensen, played by Isabella Scorupco, she disembarks and explains that she just ran a 30-mile grid and they're all clear. No dragons for miles.
But that doesn't stop them from coming.
Yep. And then Van Zan introduces her to them, and she explains that her and her crew are what they call archangels. They have 17 seconds is how long they usually live. Because what they do is they jump out of the helicopter and then fire nets at a dragon to bring it down so it can be killed, which It's a thing.
And then they die?
Well, if they miss, they only have like 17 seconds before they hit the ground. Like it's you don't fall forever without a parachute.
Right. So they don't wear parachutes at all. They just jump out of the plane. And
They have a parachute, but they can't open it until they take the dragon out. Either they kill the dragon and they get to open the parachute, or they don't. And they have 17 seconds apparently to figure it out.
Oh, okay.
And Creedy is like, all right, sure. You guys, hunt dragons from the sky. Got it. Not buying it. So later we cut to Alexandra, who finds Quinn in the kitchen. They flirt a bit, and Quinn explains how this kid who's always been hanging around him is a kid he adopted. And I didn't notice this kid in this movie until this point, but apparently he's important in some way.
Yeah, he's apparently so important that you didn't even notice him until now.
Nope. His name is Jared. I didn't get his name until much later either, but I'm bringing it back for you now so we don't get confused. And apparently he's like, I adopted him. He was a stray, et cetera, et cetera. It's like, not many men would have taken him in. Like, that's a very noble thing. So, like, more character building for Quinn.
With the adopted son that you've never seen.
Yeah. And then yet another freaking dragon alarm goes off. So apparently they're just chock full of alarms in this castle.
And again, the flying around did diddly squat. Yeah,
apparently it was more than 30 miles away, but it didn't take very long to get there. So that 30-mile radius might want to be expanded. So Van Zan and his troops arm up and roll out. They're ready to go kill themselves a dragon. And they're clearly very experienced and disciplined. Like, this is a well-run outfit. Van Zan is barking out orders. And they're setting up. The, choppers flying around, getting into place. And there are these 3 people on bikes who are planting these, radar scanners around the area to create a 3D map so they can track the dragon in the sky. And I don't even know how it works, but the point is, you need those MacGuffins in place for the dragon to be killed, apparently.
It's like Twister. They arm up to go put Dorothy up.
Exactly. So just as they lay out their plan, the dragon appears on the tail of the helicopter. One of the guys who was setting up part of the radar mapping device is killed when the dragon goes off the helicopter and goes kill him and then comes back to the helicopter later. It's all very sort of weird that things are just happening when they need to.
Mm-hmm.
So Quinn hears over the radio and actually sees the guy get killed by the dragon. So he goes and gets a horse and rides out to finish the guy's job of putting up the radar thing. Even though nobody told him that was needed. How does he know to do this? He just sort of intuit that he needs to go out there and set up the radar that this guy in a motorbike was setting up.
Okay, Sam, this is the future. This is 2020. This is really far
2020, the future, yeah.
In the future. And now they're just like the Borg. They know. Hive mind.
So why they have a radio?
Yeah, humans have gone to the point where in fighting the dragons, they have become a hive mind.
Then why do they have all these radios?
That just helps, because sometimes if they're too far away or the dragon interferes, dragons cause a lot of interference, Sam.
Oh, they didn't mention this movie. That must be a new theory that they didn't come up with yet. The scientists, they got the dinosaur thing down, but not the dragon interference part.
Just it interferes with mind-to-mind communication.
Yeah. Okay, Danielle, great. That's what happened. Either way, Psychic Quinn goes out, and somehow he picks up the device, he pushes the right buttons, and he plants it in the ground, and that brings up the 3D map, and they're like, okay, we can see the dragon. Oh no, he's right behind us. Ah!
If only we had looked before we pushed the button.
I know, having any sort of onboard radar or mirrors.
Or just looking up into the sky.
It is cloudy, to be fair. So they're having trouble seeing the dragon because it's England. So of course it's cloudy.
Popping through the clouds unexpectedly.
Anyway, so the dragon bumps in the chopper. One of the guys gets knocked out, and he is apparently was supposed to be the bait anyway. So everyone's just sort of cool with this.
Aww.
And so the other people then jump out as well to begin their dragon hunt. And so there's this big aerial fight scene, which actually doesn't look too bad. The special effects in this movie are, well, at least for the dragon effects, are really good for 2002. They are convincing. They must
have had a lot of money backing this film.
60 million, something like that.
Just seems like with the cast and the CG for dragons, it cost quite a lot.
Well, they didn't make that much money on it, so. But I can see why this was a poster child for Blu-ray as a very effects-heavy and very well-done effects movie in general. So anyway, there's a big aerial fight. They shoot these net guns at the dragons from the skydivers, but the dragon shakes them off, and the lead skydiver just slams to the ground, doesn't get to pull his parachute because they didn't get the dragon down. They had to keep its attention on him, but I guess the parachute would have interfered. I don't know why. He just had to die. Movie says he has to die.
That's how it works in movies.
Yeah, I'm really not clear on why these people have to die, in their, do these suicide jumps. They can't just shoot the dragon or pull their parachute when they're near the end, because what's the worst that's going to happen? They're eaten by the dragon or they're slammed to the ground, either way.
It's true.
So anyway, at this point, Quinn picked up the radio and he hears from Van Zan. He's like, oh, that's you, Quinn? Well, there's been a change in plan. Quinn is now the bait. And the other two skydivers are already dead because the dragon shook off the nets. And so the new plan is to have Quinn lead the dragon to Van Zan by riding his horse directly at Van Zan down the road. And then Van Zan is going to get on top of his APC with a harpoon gun to kill the dragon.
Sure, why not?
The plan, total success. Works without a hitch. Quinn rides towards him, one shot from the harpoon gun right at the dragon's chest, takes it out. And if it's that easy to kill, what was all the skydiving about?
I mean, it's just
that's a waste of time.
Not everybody is Matthew McConaughey, okay?
Look, why did this elaborate, like, setting up the triangulation for the 3D mapping, get the troops jumping out there, they have 17 seconds, they're all going to die. Also, of course, the following team takes way more than 17 seconds. But if they're just like, oh, we could just have somebody be bait, run it over here, and we shoot with the harpoon gun, why all this other overly complicated, super dangerous stuff?
Maybe the only person that's good at throwing a harpoon gun is him.
He didn't throw it. He just pointed and shot. It was like a turret-mounted harpoon gun.
Okay, well, the only person good at aiming the harpoon gun is him.
Okay. Well, sure. Because apparently in his outfit of well-trained militia men, he's the only one who can also use a harpoon gun.
You don't know. Maybe it's just a really good skill.
He has like 200 men with him. The point is, I'm not buying their overly complicated plan. They should start with this as plan A. Like, plan A being the overcomplicated aerial jumps that are death-defying looks cool. Dumb plan A. So like I said, it doesn't actually seem that hard to kill the dragon. Like, if one harpoon kills the dragons, like, how did we not kill these things before? Like, they're not impervious to guns, it looks like. So it doesn't say they're that hard to kill.
Yeah, you think an entire, like, country's army would be able to take out a bunch of dragons.
Like a military-industrial complex like ours could probably handle some... yes, they're spawning like locusts, maybe. Maybe they get overwhelmed by numbers. But again, I don't think it should be like the total defeat and just like smashing that it was painted as. Anyway, moving on from that. Later that night, everybody's partying. Hey, we killed a dragon. Look at us. We're badasses. Well, everyone except Van Zan. He marches up to the party. And he's like, give him this. He's like, 1 dragon down, 3 men dead. That's not much of an accomplishment. There are hundreds of more to go. But go ahead and party. Personally, you disgust me.
So there's only hundreds of dragons?
I mean, hundreds, thousands. I don't know. It's not clear. But he just says hundreds. Probably his hyperbole is a little off.
I mean, if they're breeding like locusts, you'd think there'd be quite a few of them by now.
I think like they were breeding like locusts, but they're starting to die off now from like the end of their reproductive cycle.
So isn't the goal just to like hang tight for a couple more years and just wait for them to go underground again?
Yes. That's Christian Bale's plan. That's Quinn's plan, is to basically wait them out and wait for them all to die off and rebuild from the ashes, which not a terrible plan if they're already starting to die off.
How did they know?
Honestly.
How did scientists know that was what they did originally, was like die off and then get...
Because the plot demands they know it, Danielle.
That seems even stranger than the idea that they killed the dinosaurs. Okay, maybe somehow you figured that out. But like the idea that they're in this 65 million year cycle, how would you ever know?
Maybe they, again, it's not clear. Maybe the movie says they came out a few other times and caused other natural disasters that were attributed to volcanoes or something. I don't know.
Like the Alexandria Library.
I was going to say Pompeii, but no, neither of those, because there would have been records of it, maybe.
Atlantis, all caused by dragons.
I would not be surprised. They mentioned like ancient drawings of dragons and how there's like ancient humans drawing about these dragons. I'm like, wait a minute. Like if the ancient humans encountered these dragons and these dragons wiped out everything before hibernating again, wouldn't those people not have been around to make modern humans?
You would think so.
Also, this is basically the plot to the movie Pitch Black.
Good movie.
Which is a good movie. Good movie. Love that movie. But where the like super ravenous flying creatures come out every like X number of cycles to destroy the planet.
Right.
It's basically that movie with dragons on Earth.
But I think Pitch Black Baby's better. I could be wrong. I haven't seen Rain of Fire.
I can't argue with that. I think it's a more interesting film because this one just feels kind of paint by numbers in terms of post-apocalyptic stuff for most of it. The dragon stuff is a nice twist. So after Van Zan is a total wet blanket on the party, Quinn goes out and they confronts him about what he's really doing here. Why are you here? Van Zan just says, I lead, you follow. And so he leads Quinn back inside the castle to where Alex is, and he explains they're running out of resources. They're running out of men, and he says, Alex, you explain the rest. And Alex explains that she has figured out that all the dragons they found so far are female.
Okay.
And Alex has a theory that they're like fish. female lay the eggs, and there's one male that passes over them, fertilizes thousands in one go, just like salmon.
Uh-huh.
And I have no idea how she came to this conclusion. Like, how is she suddenly an expert on the dragon reproduction habits? But here we are. And so she figures that there's only one male for the entire species, like a queen bee, but reverse, which is dumb. Like, think about the genetic diversity of that species with just one male. For one, not good.
No, not good at all.
Not good. Also, what kind of species only has one male who can, like, or one of the reproducing partners? If you lose that thing, your species is out. Like, that's not going to work. Even bees, yeah, there's one queen and a bunch of males in the hive, but there are many hives. Like, it's not just like one hive. If you kill the one singular queen bee, the entire bee species is eradicated. So this is by far the dumbest species to have ever evolved. Like, this species should not have survived even one cycle. This is complete bogus evolutionary biology. And somehow Alex has figured this all out just by flying a helicopter around and shooting them.
And just assuming, because all they've seen is females, that there must just be one male.
Yeah, that's a big assumption to make, to bet the entire survival of it. We've only seen females, so maybe there only must be one male for the entire species. Maybe they have, like, multiple hives. Nope. Just one male.
Just one. And,
just one.
And the assumption that if you kill the male, then there's no, like, repercussion, like another one isn't born or something.
Like parthenogenesis or some other kind of, like, gender swap like lizards do or whatever. No, it's like, kill the one male, done. Dumbest species ever. Species would never survive. Evolution would have a field day with this species. Wipe it out.
65 million years ago after they killed the dinosaurs.
They shouldn't even gotten that far. They'd just be like, oh, there's only one male dragon. We're good. Like, even if they, like, other species couldn't fight off the dragon, a natural disaster, death of old age, whatever. Anything that happens to that one male, boom, species is gone, kaput.
Do they live forever? That's a good question. Death of old age.
Like, apparently they must. It's only one male. Or maybe, like, he passes on the male mantle to the next one when he dies, but if that's the case, and killing it doesn't really solve the problem.
That's what I was wondering, if that happened. Like, maybe it triggered something to birth another male.
No, the implication is this is the
be-all, end-all of the species.
Right, like, this male dragon is the alpha and the omega of male dragons. It has been around since the beginning, and it will presumably go on and forever like a shark.
What a terrible living strategy.
No, it's like a survival strategy out of a dumb kid's book. Like a book written by a dumb kid, not a book for dumb kids, to be clear. Like, this is the kind of thing I would write and I think, like, oh, this is so edgy when I was like 7. Like, oh, this is a great species to design. Like, no.
It'll totally work.
Yeah, totally work. Oh, how cool is that? Just one male and all these females. No. So anyway, Alex goes on to say that they've tracked the epidemiology of the dragons somehow, because now she's also an epidemiologist in addition to a dragon biologist.
She's just an all-around scientist, Sam. She got her degree in science.
She's tracked them to London. So they figure that the one male for the entire species is in London, and if they kill it, all the dragons will die off and they win.
That's convenient.
Yeah, it is.
So there's dragons. Are there dragons everywhere? Like all the different continents?
Oh, the whole world is gone.
But there's only one male for the whole for every place ever?
Yeah.
How does the dragon get it from, like, you know, all over?
They fly.
From, like, it's all the male dragon does, just fly in circles across the entire world, pollinating?
No, he spawns all the dragons in London, and they go spread out like locusts from there.
Okay, sure.
Again, it doesn't make any sense. Terrible strategy. You want to set up other nests in other continents, maybe.
But what about when those dragons, I guess they wouldn't, because they don't have any males to mate with.
Yeah.
So they just go live other places and kill, but they don't lay any eggs any other places, just London.
No, they just kill for no reason. So I'm like, I don't know. Like, it doesn't make sense that you're going to reproduce from this one location, spread out, and then your, like, children are just going to go eat in, you know, South America and then die there without doing anything. Like, why even bother spreading out as a species?
Yeah, great question.
No, none of the behavior of these dragons makes sense from an evolutionary biology perspective.
It does not. On the plus side, apparently the male's in London, so we're good.
Yeah, exactly. And again, if there's an evolutionary biologist out there who wants to come up with some justifications for this behavior, I would love to hear their treatise on the dragon behavior from Reign of Fire. Please write in. That would be amazing. Yeah, absolutely. I would love to hear them, like, just explain, okay, here's how this could work evolution-wise. So anyway, Quinn is like, okay, good luck going to kill that dragon, but Van Zan insists he needs soldiers. And Quinn's like, none of my people are going with you. I want them to live, and you need to leave, Van Zan. And Van Zan's like, this isn't living. This is just dying slowly.
I can see both their points.
Yeah. And so he storms off, and Alex asks Quinn, why don't you want to go? Because she just intuits, because she's a woman, that there's something deeper about his emotional hesitancy to go back to London. And I'm like, all right, movie, come on.
Men can't intuit things. We've learned this.
Yeah. And so he tells her that he was there, that his mom died in London, and apparently Alex, like, you saw him, that male dragon, you saw him. And apparently she just figures out that he saw the male dragon, the dragon that Quinn found in that mine shaft was the male. So
I actually had forgotten that he saw a dragon in a mine shaft.
that was the whole start of the movie. You know, I told you, none of that really mattered, did it?
So he saw the place where the male was fertilizing the eggs or whatever.
Yeah, he knows where the nest is, which is in London. So that's when there's yet another problem. Someone bursts in telling Quinn there's trouble. And Quinn rushes outside to see Van Zan out there giving a speech to the men saying, these dragons are just creatures. They have organs. We can kill them. And
we weren't sure about that before, but now we know.
He's like, they're flesh and bone, organs. You take any of those out, the whole thing will die. We can kill them. We've shown you.
Oh, did they eat the dragon? They should eat the dragon.
No, it's just lying out there rotting.
Why would you waste dragon meat? I'm serious, they're starving.
So what Quinn says later, something like, I hate that smell. And he's like, I love that smell. It keeps the others away because they want to avoid their own dying.
Which
I'm like,
makes
what?
sense, but no, cut. Why would you not eat the dragon, Sam?
I'm with you, Danielle. Food is food.
Like, I
if
would
you're
eat
starving
yeah.
and all your crops were killed and you get this bounty just dropped into your lap, eat that dragon.
I can't believe this movie didn't eat the dragon.
They didn't eat the dragon, Danielle. I'm sorry.
I'm so, I genuinely am shocked that
I like
they
how
didn't
that's
eat it.
the thing. Like, all this movie has all this nonsense, but the one thing is, I will not abide them wasting
They're
good dragon meat.
How, if you killed an animal while you were starving, any animal while you were starving, you would eat that sucker. Why would you not eat the dragon? They don't even say like, oh, it's not edible or something to wave it off.
Nope. Yeah, they don't even just ignore it. It's just like a rotten carcass in the sun.
No, the next scene should have then been them like roasting dragon meat over a pit of fire for that party that they were having.
Maybe they cut that scene, Danielle. I don't tell you.
I cannot believe they didn't eat the dragon after the entire problem was that they didn't have food. Oh my God.
No, you're right, Danielle. What a waste. These people are all morons.
I can't.
I'm out. This is my limit. Not eating the dragon meat. That's what I check out.
I'm really offended by that writing.
How dare they? Everything else on board. Not eating the dragon meat. Out. Done. You've lost Danielle.
That would have been my first thing. I'm like, oh good, we killed a dragon. Let's see if it's edible. Hey Matthew, can we eat these?
What a pity that you weren't there to help them.
I'm just shocked. Shocked, I say.
Shocked and appalled.
Sorry, I got tangented.
Oh, you think? Anyway, Van Zan is giving this speech and he's like, what? Only 4 volunteers? That's it. We're done with recruiting. It's time for the draft. He's like, find the 6 strongest men. I'm like, 6? That's all you need? There's not much of a draft. But at this moment, Quinn just charges in and like does a leaping punch and just decks Van Zan across the face. And they fight, and they roll around and have a big old fight, and Quinn's getting the crap kicked out of him. Just before the fight is broken up, and Van Zan sort of walks off in a huff, while Alex sort of tends to Quinn in like a nurse moment, because, of course.
Of course.
To all his like bleeding face and like gives it some iodine. And then she leaves to go pack to leave as well. And I'm like, wait a minute. The whole conscription thing, did that just stop? Did they just like drop that plan? I don't understand what it's like. He fought for a bit. Nothing happened. And like, all right, I guess we're done here.
So nobody was conscripted.
I don't know. Maybe Quinn's like, I tried. I guess the conscription's going forward. To be fair, it's not like Van Zan only wanted 6 people, which is not a huge number when they have hundreds living in the castle.
That's true. I mean, they could at least ask.
Yeah, no, they asked, and only 4 people volunteered, so he said, let's get 6 more. I'm like, all right, I'm not okay with that. But still, it's not like he's like, taking everybody, every man we can. So it's like, if you're going to go that route, why not just go all the way?
Yeah, you think more numbers would be better.
But I don't think conscripts are going to be particularly good at fighting dragons anyway, but what do I know? So as Quinn's getting patched up and goes inside to wash up, his adopted son, Jared, decides he's going to go with Van Zan, become one of the skydiving dragon hunters. And Jared's like, they only live for like 17 seconds. Like, not the good ones. This other guy's been doing it for 8 years. I'm like, all right, well, good luck, buddy.
How old's the kid?
He's like 16, 17.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and Quinn's like, well, if you're old enough to talk to me like that, you're old enough to make your own decisions. So go on. And I don't really care. Like, I know it's supposed to be like some big heart-wrenching thing for Quinn to see his like adopted son. He's like, you're not my dad. You can't tell me what to do. And he's like, you're right. I'm not your dad. And I'm like, am I supposed to care about this? Am I supposed to feel something about this relationship? Because I don't really feel there's any
You didn't even know he had a
understand.
son until 5 minutes ago.
Right, like you're trying to pull some like heartstring stuff here that you have not earned the movie. So Jared leaves, and Van Zan and all his group, they all head out. And Quinn goes back to the charred field that evening, starts picking through the remains. And then apparently Jared came back. Psych! He wasn't really going to go anyway. And I still don't care.
He just decided not to go?
He's like, nope, I'm not going to go. Quinn's like, I'm so glad you're back. You're going to be a leader one day. I'm like, am I supposed to care about, like, he was gone for literally half a scene and then came back. Like, there's no emotional depth here.
What caused his turnaround?
No idea. He decided not to. He's just like, I'm going to go. All right, bye. No, I'm back. Hey, welcome back.
Why even bother having that scene?
I don't know. I don't know if there was something cut or if I'm supposed to feel something. He was just gone and back again in, half a scene, and I feel nothing about it. It was completely
What
irrelevant.
an odd choice. I thought that was going to come into play later, and apparently not.
It doesn't even come into play now. So that night, then, after going through the field, Quinn goes to the dragon carcass and looks around and he starts poking at it. Does not even, very hard to say. So they explained earlier in the movie, Alex explained how they discovered how the dragons make fire. They have these two chemical sacs in their mouth and they spray them out and they combine to make a natural napalm when they exhale. And you think that'd be important, but it's not.
They don't use that in any way?
Nope.
What?
Nope. No.
Why? Why
they
would
just want to...
you think you'd make like your planes do fire or something? I don't know.
This movie just loves having these weird pseudoscientific justifications for how the dragons work. And the movie seems more interested in providing fake science about dragons than the actual story.
You know what this is? This is the 13th Warrior all over again, where everything happens and it doesn't mean anything.
It has more plot than the 13th Warrior, at least more coherent plot. But you're right. There's a lot that is just sort of like, oh, this isn't really cool. If we had dragons, like, how they work. Oh, what that is a cute little chemical sacs. That's how they work. Isn't that a cool idea? Let's put it in there. Does it matter? No, it's just a really cool idea.
This movie.
I thought I'd mention that. So Quinn digs around inside the dragon and finds an egg. Just like an egg sitting in the dragon. The big as his head. It's not fertilized. Maybe it is. I don't know. And he's like, I guess Alex's theory was right. There's only one male because I found an egg in this dragon, so it's female. So this one's female, which means they all must be female. I was like, oh my gosh, Quinn, dude, no, think.
What if there's no males and they're just reproducing on their own?
That's a very good theory.
It's
like maybe
quite
they're
possible.
all like, it could be all part of the Genesis. Maybe it's all just one sex. Like sex doesn't matter. Like they don't not male and female. They're just dragons.
Like fact, that would probably be the best way for them to live.
Yeah, in that case, you don't have all this nonsense about like having a one weakness in the whole species. But of course, Alex is totally right about everything, and Quinn is just confirmed by finding a single dragon egg inside a dragon.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. I had that same. I'm like, all right, sure, that's justification enough. So meanwhile, Van Zan and his crew find a massive roadblock of abandoned cars on the road to London. Like they're 66 miles out and just jam-packed with wreckage as far as the eye can see. There's no way into it. So they post up and he tells the helicopter pilot, Alex, go and see if there's a way around so we can get into London. And so she zooms off and they're like, do the nukes do this? Like, no, this wasn't the nukes. This was something more.
Like dragons?
Like dragons. I'm like, guys, how can you tell the difference between a nuke and a dragon? Like, I don't know. And of course, while they're there, the dragons attack. And in fact, it's the big male dragon who attacks them, who just conveniently comes out of London and isn't like hunkered down being guarded. It's just like out and about, vulnerable. Like, what are you doing? You are you're the sole person who can perpetuate your species. And you're just like gallivanting around, just taking out random caravans.
Yeah, that'd be like if the queen bee was just like, I'm going to go for a flight, you guys. I'll be back in a little bit.
Right. Loves to fly around. He's like, I think that's some fun. And so the male dragon attacks. They get on some guns. They're shooting at it. Makes one big pass, spewing fire of everything. Van Zan manages to roll under his APC and hide. Everyone else burnt to a crisp.
Aww.
His entire crew. Everyone.
Poor crew. We hardly knew you.
Meanwhile, Alex returns and is calling over the radio. He's like, Van Zan, are you there? But everyone's toast. Back in the castle, they hear this on the radio. They pick up the transmission, but it doesn't matter. They didn't do anything with it. They just happened to hear it and like, all right, well, I guess they're all screwed. And they go back about their business.
They should have been tagging these dragons. That's what they should have been doing with their time. And then they'd know if they were approaching. I'm serious. There's so many solutions to this problem, Sam.
I agree. Like, a radar would have helped.
Right.
Like a regular, not this fancy 3D scanning radar, but any like regular radar. It's not like these are stealth dragons.
No.
Like it's still up on radar.
And you
that
could tag them and
perfect.
keep track of where they were. Like, where's the science
I'm not
in all of
tagging them,
this?
'cause if you're close to tag them, maybe you should just kill it or run away. But at least have some kind of detection system out there.
I think there's multiple ways to keep track of where the dragons are. They're not utilizing any of them.
They're
constantly
all very
surprised by dragons.
And these dragons are huge. It's not like they're hard to see. They're giant.
Do you remember in Lords of the Sky where the dragons went from like the north to the south and we couldn't figure out how nobody was noticing that they were traveling through the sky?
I mean, and they didn't even have like radar. They had magic radar, I guess, but like they just showed them using radar in this movie and they're still surprised by dragons.
Terrible.
It's nonsense. So anyway, Alex had returned. She lands the helicopter. She finds Van Zan, who is like hunched over and just like, they killed everyone. One pass. It's over. Quinn was right. And he's like, oh no. Because Quinn had said earlier that he didn't want anyone to go with him because someone had done that from another cast. Like someone had gone to London from another enclave and the dragons had tracked them back to their home base and just wrecked the place.
Dragons are smarter than the humans.
Yeah. So the dragons are going to track the humans. Humans not going to keep track of the dragons, apparently.
We learned.
And now Van Zan's like, oh no, it's headed back to the castle with Quinn and the others. So good job, Van Zan. You lost all your troops and managed to lead the dragon to the enclave.
Impressive, really.
So the dragon shows up at the castle. There's another alarm. There's like an alarm every day at this place. At this point, I'd be like numb to it. And the dragon just lays into the castle. It's wrecking shop. So Quinn rushes back from the dragon carcass in the fields, but it's bad. Everything is on fire. So Quinn heads inside looking for survivors. He finds Creedy and Jared, who are trying to get the kids down to the bunker, the caves with the sprinkler system, the anti-fire sprinkler system. Mm-hmm. So Quinn helps a little bit, and they get the kids down there, and then Creedy is like, I gotta head back up. There are 65 other people still out there, and he heads back up the stairs, and there's a fireball, and the door slams shut just as Quinn's trying to get to Creedy, and Creedy's killed, presumably, just dead out on the other side of that door.
I like Creedy.
Yes, Jared Butler's good. I like him. But nope, he's dead, gone, kaput, vaporized.
Is this still the male dragon?
Yes.
Okay. Maybe he heard about the plan. Word on the street was that he was going to get murdered by these guys.
Yeah, I can't let that happen. I gotta strike first. The best offense is a good defense. No way, other way around. Best defense is a good offense.
That's the only thing that would explain why the male dragon is out anywhere.
No, the male dragon is, like I said, cavalier about his own safety as the linchpin of his species. This whole species makes no sense.
Probably the female dragons are like flying up above. They're like, Tom, go home. You can't be out.
The dragon's name is Tom. Tom the dragon.
Yeah.
Tom, you should not be out. Stay inside.
What did
Stop
we tell you?
mothering me. I'm your dad. Dumb dragons. Anyway, Creedy's dead. They're all hunkered down in the sprinklers that are pouring water everywhere, so they're safe at least. And Creedy maybe saved them. I'm not sure if he closed the door before the fireball hit or if it just got pushed closed by the fireballs, shockwave or whatever.
I'd like to think Creedy saved the day.
It looks like he didn't, I'll be honest.
In my head, he did. I haven't seen the movie. I can make up anything I want.
That's true. So Quinn is very upset, and he starts leading the wailing kids in the prayer, trying to calm them down, but can't finish it before he breaks down crying.
Aww.
So later, after the attack, Quinn hears people upstairs, and he starts banging on the door, because apparently the door is blocked by debris, and he's banging on it, and then Van Zan and Alex and a few other survivors dig them out and open the bunker up. And Van Zan just says, "You were right," and that's it. It's like, duh, dude. Everything that Quinn said would happen happened exactly. It's like, all right, you were right. My bad.
Sorry, I killed all your people.
Doesn't even say my bad. She's like, no, you were right. All right, well, try again. So out of the bunker, everything's in rubble. The kids and everyone else climb around. They all look dazed. And then Quinn confronts Van Zan. It looks like he's going to shoot him as he loads the gun. And he's like, you, me, and Alex, we are taking the chopper to London. I know where he lives. Magic hour. You say that's when they're the weakest. He's like, what? Because apparently he's on board now with killing the male dragon.
Well, he has nothing to lose. All his people are dead.
No, they're not all dead. Most of them survived in the bunker. Like 60 of them died at most. And some of those probably survived too. His best friend is dead. That sucks. But like all the children and his son and many of the other adults, most of the other adults, it looks like, all survived.
Well, this was a line, Sam.
Okay, this is the line where he gets on board.
The rest of the human population didn't matter.
Apparently not. Just Gerard Butler as Creedy. Which is fair. If you're gonna give one dude super importance, why not Jared Butler?
Why not? He's worth killing some dragons over, I guess.
Sure,
probably.
I would do it. I don't know. I haven't met him, but I think he's a nice guy, probably. So now you see the helicopter flying along the British coast towards London. I'm like, how much fuel does this helicopter have? Where are they getting gas for it?
At the abandoned gas stations that the dragons assumedly have not blown up with their fire.
But even if that were the case, wouldn't all the gas stations be on fire because the dragons just breathe fire?
That's what I said. All the ones that the dragons didn't get.
No, they get all of them, I think.
They just fly over airports and they're like, this gas station, this gas station.
They burn pretty much everything else. Why not? Anyway, I'm dubious about the magic fuel reserves of this helicopter. Anyway, Quinn, Alex, and Van Zan, they fly off to London. It's a husk of a city. And the dragons and the nukes have left it in ruins. And as they approach, they see dragons flocking around the city. Quinn is about to say, okay, I know the tunnels. I know the underground of the city. The dragons are the skies, but I got the underground. And just as he's about to sort of take them into the tunnels, the big male comes out and starts attacking and eating some of the other little dragons who all scatter. So apparently they're starving. They're starting to eat their own.
Oh, that's
And I'm
smart.
like, wait a minute. This is the worst survival strategy for a species. The species doesn't want to survive, does it? But it conveniently clears away all the other little dragons, so there's only the big one left of the entire city, apparently.
Well, that's good.
So then Quinn just sort of leads him through the city. He just doesn't bother with the whole tunnel plan, just takes him through the city. And as they approach the construction site where everything started, we get like a brief predator vision look that's shot from the perspective of the dragon.
Just for funsies.
Who's clearly watching them. And I don't know why we have this perspective. It's like, no, there they are. It does nothing. It just lets them into the tunnels.
So he has all this underground knowledge, and they don't utilize that at all in the movie.
No, not until they get to one tunnel, which is the one that they originally were in, where the original mine shaft was that they were digging out for the subway, and that's the only time they go underground.
This movie's killing me.
It's so dumb. They have all these ideas they do not capitalize on.
Some good ideas too.
Some of them are good. All this, they have a lot of foreshadow that isn't foreshadow because it doesn't do anywhere. It's just shadow. Anyway, so, I love this. I love this so much. They go into the tunnel and they start setting up, and Van Zan's like, okay, I have these explosive. He starts putting together these explosive crossbow bolts that are like magnesium tipped C4 crossbow bolts. I'm like, okay, crossbow bolts? Really? And he's like, here's the plan. As they're preparing to confront the dragon above the tunnel, Van Zan explains the dragon will only expose his chest just before he breathes fire. So you have to be in the oven because you only have 50 feet of range with these crossbow bolts. And I'm like, wait a minute. This is your best technology that you have left is a crossbow bolt with a bomb strapped to it. And you know somehow that the dragon's going to expose its chest just before it breathes fire. And that's the time to strike.
They can't.
This is all very convenient.
Is this underground? They're going to do it underground.
No, they're going above ground. They're just
Why didn't they just do the same thing they did last time where they lead the dragon and then he shoots the giant?
The harpoon.
Yeah.
I'm assuming his truck was destroyed by the fire and they don't have the truck. They couldn't get it into the city or the tank. It was all blocked up. They only got there by flying in on the helicopter.
There's not another one they could find somewhere?
They can't get into the city. It's all blocked. All the roads and bridges and everything are destroyed or blocked.
But they're in the city now.
Yeah, they are. Oh, you think there's a harpoon truck lying around London?
No, I just think that most things are abandoned. There's probably a good solution somewhere around here.
Oh, no, I agree. The crossbow bolt explosive idea is not their best plan. I agree there are probably better plans than that, but I don't think the truck plan is any better. Let's find a random husk of a truck in this
something other than the
ravaged,
bolt, Sam.
nuked city. But maybe, Danielle, I agree. But maybe there are no explosive husks. I don't know. Van Zan clearly knows what he's doing.
Sure.
Anyway, I just love that his plan is crossbow bolt against dragon. So they go up to the surface and they're sort of hiding around some of the husks. And it's like this square, like an enclosed space, like it's closed down the sides, but it's open to the sky. And there are all these burnt down husks of buildings and other debris. And Van Zan sees the dragon circling above. He's like, okay, there's a window we have, well, it circles every 8 seconds or something that we can make a run. So you're going to go that way. I'm going to go this way. And then we're going to have Alex try to get the dragon's attention and then we'll shoot it with the crossbow bolt. Why are they splitting up? Not clear, but that's the plan.
Maybe always split up in movies. It's the law.
So they split up as the dragon circles, and Van Zan goes one way, Quinn goes the other, and Alex waits in the shelter they're in. And as they're running, Quinn is almost eaten by the dragon, so not much of a window. And he does a cute little somersault roll to dodge the dragon. But oh no, that little somersault roll means he lost the magic arrows while he was running from the dragon after he got to shelter. They rolled off his pockets or something.
Oh no!
Yeah,
anything
good
but
job
that.
keeping hold of those super important MacGuffins there, bud. Meanwhile, Van Zan had climbed up this like giant chimney tower thing and is standing up there ready. And this is probably my favorite shot in the entire movie. We see a ripped, shirtless, tattooed Matthew McConaughey on top of a building in front of a very obvious green screen, leveling a giant crossbow at a dragon as it's drawing towards him. And I love it. So he gets Alex to run and get the dragon's attention to try and make the dragon breathe fire at her so he can shoot in the chest. And he shoots, but he hits the dragon fire. He's too late, and the bolt just explodes in the dragon's face and doesn't hurt it. So the dragon is ticked off at him, and he grabs a battleaxe that he apparently just has lying around, and he just does like this leaping slash off the chimney, like from, it's 100 feet up at the dragon, like wielding this battle axe above his head, and just gets snatched out of there by the dragon, eaten, just dead, and the axe falls to the ground.
Seriously?
Yep. Nothing. Just snatched out of the air, ineffective, gone. Completely useless.
It's such a sad ending for
ignominious death for Van Zan. Gone. Just, chomp. It's so good. I love it so much.
Oh.
So Quinn and Alex reconnect. She's limping. He doesn't have his magic arrows. He's explained, so you need to find them. She's like, oh, look, there it is, over there. How convenient. And so after one of the other passes, Quinn makes a run for the magic crossbow bolt, and he starts loading into the crossbow. And as he's loaded, the dragon is approaching him very slowly, not breathing fire, taking its time. This is a dragon equivalent of monologuing.
Dragon log.
And then Alex pops out with the machine gun, starts shooting at it to distract it long enough for Quinn to get ready. And he squares up on the dragon, and the dragon looks at him. It rears back to roar, and he opens his mouth wide enough for Quinn to shoot the bolt into its mouth. So the whole, exposing his chest just before he breathes fire thing, that doesn't matter. Just kills it by shooting into its face hole.
That would work too, though.
Fair enough. It works. It's dead. Killed it.
Yay!
Done. Dragon species wiped out.
There's still all the dragons left, though.
Yeah, those are left, but they're just going to die out from starvation, I guess. And they're not going to be any more ever again in the future. So for all generations past, well, I guess not past, but definitely future and present, they're safe.
Oh, good.
So Alex comes over and says to him, he always thought you could do it, and you did. And I'm like, wait a minute. You all just met 2 days ago.
I was going to say that.
It's like, what are you, Van Zan always believed in you when he met you 2 days ago.
Yeah. He really believed you in those 48 hours, though. He was on your side.
He really saw you as a son. I'm like, okay, I guess if Jared can be your son, and I don't know about this, Matthew McConaughey can see you as a son too. Whatever.
He said that to him?
No, I'm just saying, that's what it felt like. He was trying to say, I wanted to say, he always saw you as a son. I'm like, oh, the past 48 hours, sure. It felt like that was what was going on. They're trying to make that big of a leap.
They had a really deep emotional connection, as people do in times of trauma.
Yes, before he was eaten by a dragon while trying to chop it with a battle axe. Oh, I love that battle axe so much. All right. So cut to sometime later. Apparently Alex and Quinn had headed out and managed to reconnect with his people, and they're rebuilding. It's 3 months later, and they're erecting a radio tower. Jared rushes up saying, hey, we've made contact with some people, but they're speaking French.
Uh-oh.
The English and the French. Will they ever stop having those kerfuffles?
Did they figure out the food problem?
No, I don't know.
They're dead.
Probably not. I don't know. It's only 3 months later, Danielle. They haven't starved yet.
Well, if they had taken that meat from that dragon and maybe dried some of it as jerky.
Yeah, well, write them a letter, Danielle. Back in 2002, they should put that in the movie. Anyway, Jared says they want to talk to the leader, and Quinn says, well, it's a good thing that's you, or something like that. And so, Jared's not the leader for some reason. I don't care about Jared at all. I don't get his arc. I don't get why he left and came back in 12 minutes. In actual 12 minutes worth of movie time and half a scene worth of us watching it. So I don't think you earned this at all. I'm sorry, Jared, but I don't care about you as a character. I don't feel like you were the leader. I didn't see you grow and into the role and become the leader you're always meant to be, or some nonsense. And so then Alex asks if this will last, and Quinn says, it's been 3 months. We haven't seen any of them since. If they come, they'll burn, we'll build, and maybe I'll just kill them. And she's like, oh, now who's being all optimistic? He's like, well, I thought I'd tried on for a while.
So where did the dragons go? They're still around.
Apparently not, Danielle. Apparently killing the male, killed them all or something.
It's like a chain reaction. It destroyed all the other ones, gripped
all
their
heads exploded or something. They're all linked psychically. And so Quinn and Alex walk off hand in hand into the horizon as the credits roll.
Yay, I guess.
What an ending. Oh, I forgot to mention that Quinn has the battleaxe. They just took the battleaxe and
Can't believe you forgot that, Sam.
Hey, that battleaxe is my favorite thing in this whole damn movie. It's great. That scene, it's so worth, the whole movie's worth it just for that scene of Matthew McConaughey fighting the dragon and then getting eaten immediately.
Is this our second movie? Wasn't McConaughey in one of our other, like My Boyfriend's Back or something?
No, that was Philip Seymour Hoffman.
That's right. Do we have him in something else?
Philip Seymour Hoffman or Matthew McConaughey?
No, Matthew McConaughey.
Gosh, I can't remember off the top of my head, Danielle. But I don't think so. I could be wrong, but...
I thought he played some weird background character in one of our movies that we did.
That's possible. Maybe he was just some, I know that Jamie Foxx was in Toys.
Right.
That was fun.
It was a while ago. I might be confusing him with Philip Seymour Hoffman, but I thought he was in that too or something. I don't know. Everybody was in there.
He might have been. I could be forgetting that.
He played some walk-on role.
Listeners, if you remember Matthew McConaughey from our past episodes, let us know, because clearly we can keep track of our own stuff.
We've done a lot. It's hard.
Oh, sure.
I can't even remember the things that happened the previous week, and you want me to remember stuff from 25 episodes ago?
That's fair. So yeah, Reign of Fire. The dragon biology makes no sense. What a movie.
It's a tagline.
It's actually kind of a fun movie. It's not I don't know if I call it a good movie. There are lots of parts that are kind of boring I'd sort of fast forward through them if you could, but most of it's just fun, action-y movie, and you get to see a lot of weird lines and weird character interactions and a bunch of nonsense technobabble. So,
it sounds fun.
Yeah.
You did not convince me that I shouldn't watch it, so that's good. Sometimes by the end of something, I'm like, nope.
Oh yeah, what was the one you felt the most nope about?
Oh gosh, can't even remember all the things that we did. We just talked about this.
All right, well, keep thinking about that, Danielle. And actually, listeners, I'd like to hear your reactions. If from our descriptions, did you ever go out and watch something or read something that we've talked about? Or did you ever be like, I heard about that, and thank you for telling me so I can avoid that thing? Either way, we'd love to hear how you've reacted to that stuff.
Yes, we would.
Or if you can explain the dragon biology in some way that makes sense to me, please let me know.
Yeah, Sam really does want to know about the dragon biology.
You do too, Danielle. You're as curious as I am, so don't put this all on me. But if you have an answer or just want to chat, you can find us at bookretorts.com.
Or you can tweet at us, Facebook, Instagram us at bookretort.
Until next time, I'm glad we all made it through the 2020 dragon apocalypse unscathed. We had other apocalypses to deal with, apparently. So until next time, bye.
Take care, everybody.
Fuel does this helicopter have? Where are they getting gas for it?
At the abandoned gas stations that the dragons assumedly have not blown up with their fire.
Helicopter.
Yeah.
Yep.
Are you telling me there's a helicopter?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant helicopter gas.
No, there's one
I was
above
like,
me.
they stop at the helicopter gas place.